Missouri man is behind bars in West Virginia facing serious charges involving a teenage girl. 38-year-old William Lee Santos was arrested after a month-long investigation by local and federal authorities. Police say Santos met a 16-year-old female on social media and began a sexual relationship. Detectives allege Santos would pick up the juvenile in Williamstown and travel to Marietta, where they engaged in sexual activities. He was arrested in Oklahoma on February 5th after the U.S. Marshals Service assisted in locating him. Santos is charged with 11 counts of distribution and exhibiting sexually explicit child pornography and 1 count of soliciting a minor. He was extradited to West Virginia on February 17th. Santos was arraigned and his bond was set at $450,000 in Wood County Magistrate Court. He remains in the North Central Regional Jail after failing to post bond. Additional charges may be filed in Marietta.